Welcome to another edition of the Flyest Boxing Podcast. I am your host, Special Agent Dom. As always, I got my main man, my main hitter, JTG. What's up, JTG?
What's going on, people? It's your man, JTG, short for Who the Greatest, here on a beautiful night in Miami, Florida. Gonna talk about some great boxing today. What we got going on, dog?
We got 6 fly rounds for you guys today, plus a main event. We're going to talk about the Matrix, Vasyl Lomachenko, coming back to the 135 division. Ooh. We're going to look back on the card yesterday, Keyshawn Davis versus Albright. Got a couple fights we want to talk about on that one. We're going to take a look at next week's card. Usyk versus Rico over in Egypt and Giza. Yeah. It's a pretty cool card from top to bottom. I know the main event's pretty interesting, but I think the overall card is pretty good. Then we're going to transition over to future matchups in the talks. Okay. Yeah, it's good talks. Good talk. Good talks.
It's going to be a good night tonight.
It's going to be a good night. I'm going to share my boxer of the week with you guys. And then we're going to share our Flyest of the week, his Cornball of the week. And then we got a special 140 tournament for you guys for our main event for the inaugural Flyest boxing title, the TFB title. You don't want to miss this show. I think Julio has one more thing to say to us. What is that, Julio?
Let's talk boxing.
Let's talk about it. Let's talk about it, man. The Vasyl, the Matrix, Lomachenko, back at the 135 division after a 2-year hiatus. You know, his last win was against, was a TKO win against George Kambosos, defending one of the belts. I think it was the IBF belt at the time. But he left retired. 2 years later, he comes back, and word on the street is because his contract with Top Rank is completely over, so he's a free agent now. But how do you feel about the Matrix back in boxing?
Hold on, so let's start off with my man's done with the contract.
With Top Rank, yeah.
So, real quick, shout out to Top Rank, good job. But I am so happy he's out of that contract because now they can't see my man's ducking.
Were people saying Lomo was ducking at one point?
It wasn't people saying. It was kind of like the B-side saying that he's ducking or the money wasn't right. But at the end of the day, ain't no more excuses, baby.
Okay.
We got Lomachenko, the Matrix, the man that almost beat Devin Haney. 50-50 fight, gotta give it to Haney. Besides that, though, the fights to be made with Lomachenko.
Yeah, I was actually gonna get into that, but before we get into that, man, let's talk about the legacy of Lomachenko. Whew. I mean, he doesn't have a lot of fights on his record.
Not too many.
2-time Olympic gold medalist, 2-time. He won world champion in his 4th fight in boxing. Mm-hmm. This man has fought the best of the best. The Matrix and his footwork.
In his 2nd fight, got a title shot. Easy money.
Was it against? It was Russell, right? It was one of the Antuanne. Was it one of Gary Russell's kids?
Yep.
Yeah.
Yes, it was.
Yeah, beat that guy. It was a good fight though. But I want to say, what would you say your favorite thing about Lomachenko is?
My favorite thing about Lomachenko, besides his footwork and honestly his IQ, man.
Yeah.
From his IQ.
Yeah.
At his early stage, his defense, but now, can't even say his prime. He's been surpassed his prime.
He has surpassed his prime, but he's still Lomachenko.
He's still Lomachenko.
His level still.
And just the quick punching,
The angles.
The
angles are insane.
Cutting the angles, baby.
So yeah, let me hear it. 3 fights. If you were in Lomachenko's management team right now, said, look, we're at the end of our career. Obviously, he's not going to be able to fight for much longer. What are 3 fights you give Lomachenko? Rank them from the first fight to the 3rd fight and give me why in that order.
So my first fight, I'm going to say Tank.
Tank, okay. Why Tank first?
Because honestly, Tank will have to take a tune-up fight, but it's time.
It's time.
Tank, you're in your prime, and it's time to put some noise in you back in the ring.
Yeah.
And then the 2nd fight, I'm probably gonna say Shakur.
Okay.
Just because Shakur thinks he's the best, and out of, let's say, the top 3, at that time it was Devin, Shakur, and Teo.
Yeah.
Both of those guys already fought him besides Shakur. Shakur needs to back that up from on that top.
Okay.
My 3rd fighter is gonna be Keyshawn Davis. Keyshawn's another young fighter that should get another taste of the prime, the legacy of Loma.
It's a good name on his resume.
It's a good name on the resume.
I got 3 for you.
What you got?
And I'm going to tell you the order. Abdullah Mason at 135.
Ooh, okay.
Look, man, for Vasyl Lomachenko to get back in the conversation of big fights, you got to have a title. It makes it easier to sell, right?
Yep.
I know we can sell the legacy, but obviously bringing a title adds more to it. And Abdullah Mason, I feel like, is the One, if Abdullah Mason finds a way to beat Lomachenko, Abdullah Mason is a face of boxing, or one of the faces of boxing, guaranteed. But that's an easy fight for Lomachenko, in my opinion, just based on IQ. But I would go after that. He would fight Shakur. He would have to fight Shakur. Actually, no, he would fight Tank too, because that's the money fight. That's the biggest money fight out there for him, just because of the name. It will make the most. It will bring the most revenue to him. And then Shakur Stevenson last, because it's two southpaws going against each other who are both fantastic with the footwork and distance management. It would just be a boxing purist dream matchup.
Would it be a boring fight though?
I don't think it would. I think like it would be a boring fight for the casuals, but for the pure pugilists, it would be one of the best matchups to watch, because you would just be watching two high-level fighters playing chess. And that's just going to be enough of like, wow, this is insane. It's like you can't really beat that.
It's a lot of 1-2s.
A lot of movement, a lot of angles out of that softball.
No hooks.
Yeah, but we won't stay there too long.
Let's go on to the next, baby.
What were you doing yesterday, my boy? Saturday. Where were you at?
Oh, so yesterday we were watching the Keyshawn Davis versus
Albright.
Albright, man.
Albright.
Yeah,
get it right, man. No disrespect to Albright, man.
Big man. So I wanted Keyshawn to win.
Yeah.
But an upset from Albright would have been crazy work. Now I saw the fight. What can I say about the fight? Man, it's a sweep.
It was a sweep.
1 through 10, man. I thought Albright was gonna come on like how when he fought his brother, but it wasn't what I expected. You know, but it is what it is. You know,
no, 100%.
It's on to the next. There's no more such thing as a trilogy on that fight. And what about you? Did you see the fight?
I watched it.
What do you think about it?
Yeah, it was what I expected. I mean, I guess I'm a little. I guess disappointed is not the right word, because I mean he got the job done, but I mean he told us he was gonna get Albright out of there. He didn't get him out of there. There was a lot of antics in there, a lot of holding, a lot of like, because Keyshawn lost 2 points on a body slam to Albright. So a lot of like just unclean boxing.
It was a fight.
It was a fight. It was a little scrappy fight. But I mean Keyshawn showed that there's levels to this, and he made it tough. Albright didn't really do anything that could really show that he was in control of the fight. Like it was Keyshawn the whole entire time.
You can tell, and every time when it was on the break, in each round, his coach just kept telling him, be first. Now, at the beginning, I don't know what that means, but during the fight, I was like, okay, he just wants him to start throwing first at the end of the day.
Yeah, I think I gave him 1 round the whole time. The whole fight.
They gave him 1 round, but that 1 round was when you got him a nice clean hit. I think it was over like 5 and 6.
Yeah.
But even with that clean hit, Keyshawn was like, that was a nice hit. Let me give you back to work.
Yeah, no, Keyshawn definitely. I mean, again, he showed that there was levels to
this. He showed it was tough. It was a good fight. Albright's just gonna come back. I don't know what's gonna be his next fight. Maybe he has to run it back with Frank Martin. That's a fight.
That's a fight he needs to run back. I mean, now, coming off a draw and then a loss with Keyshawn, it's still a fight that makes the most sense for him. But, and Frank Martin too. He can't go call out anybody without getting that redemption.
Yeah, but that was a good fight for Keyshawn to stay active because it's been a minute since he got a caught a fight.
Before I go into Keyshawn's next moves, which we'll talk about soon, I want to point out Brian Norman Jr. He was a co-main event of that fight. Not the best opponent, honestly. His opponent was the night before. His opponent was really just talking a lot of crap on social media at the press conference for Norman missing weight or something like that. But no, he came in. He was talking like he was going to give Norman a lot of work, but
I thought
he folded. He folded in the first like 30 seconds of a body shot.
Too much talk.
It would look like it was like it looked like the guy they pulled this guy off the street.
That's what.
And then like he got in a fight, but he was a 19-2 guy coming into that fight, which he should have put on a better performance. But shout out to Brian Norman. He got in there. Got him out there in 2 rounds, which you need to do so you can get past that loss to Devin Haney, so you can get on to bigger, better things.
What did Norman saying? The assassin is back.
The assassin is back.
Let's get to it, baby.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir. I mean, we'll talk about what Keyshawn should do next in our future matchups and why we think it's going to be a good fight for him. But next week we have a pretty good card. Oleksandr Usyk versus Rico. I don't know how to pronounce this man's name. Verhoeven, I believe.
Oh, man. Okay.
World champion kickboxer versus our king of the heavyweight division, Oleksandr Usyk. I mean, from the jump, that if you were just looking at the main event, it doesn't really make sense, obviously, because like a kickboxer competing for the WBC belt against, I mean, arguably one of the best heavyweights we've seen in 2 decades, obviously. But from top to bottom, that card is good. But real quick, do you think that Usyk is going to be facing anything crazy right now because he's gonna be fighting a kickboxer instead of a boxer?
Honestly, at this point, I think Usyk is just kind of just making his pocket money.
Yeah,
that's how I see it
at this point. Yeah,
because I'm gonna be real with you. If that fight isn't a sweep also from 1 through 12.
Yeah, it's a title fight. It's a title defense.
It's crazy.
It's a title defense for Usyk, but if Usyk loses, Rico doesn't get the belt. They just strip Usyk of all the belt if he were to lose. This is just another sanctioning fee grab for all these sanctioning bodies. Let's just be honest. Like there's literally no reason for Rico. Rico's not ranked in any of these sanctioning bodies, so he shouldn't be fighting or fighting for the title at any point. But you know, the sanctioning body needs to make their money off their big guys, so they were gonna go ahead and allow Usyk to quote unquote defend their belt. But I mean, that's the main event. I got a couple guys on there that I want to talk about who are actually very interesting. I got your guy, Hamza Shiraz.
Oh man,
he's back. His last fight was against Berlanga, correct?
Yes, sir.
He's back.
It's a bad man.
I'm curious, what is your long-term outlook on Hamza? Like, what do you think of him?
I think he's gonna be the next. I don't know about I'm gonna say the next undisputed champ, but he has a couple guys who can fight at 168.
Yeah,
a couple prime guys. Someone that you guys should look at. He's young. I wish he could have fought Dave Benavidez maybe like 2 or 3 years ago.
Yeah,
give it a shot. Why not, right?
Who?
Shiraz.
Shiraz, what do you think?
Benavidez.
Versus Benavidez?
Like 2 3 years ago. No.
Oh yeah, because Benavidez is too far gone now.
Way too far gone.
Yeah, but I mean, look, Mbili versus Canelo is coming up at 68. Shiraz wins that fight. That should definitely be something that should be in conversation. Canelo versus Shiraz is the fight that should be happening, but obviously Canelo needs to get past Mbili. But yeah, I also like Richard Torres on this card. Richard Torres is one of those interesting guys. I've heard both sides of the coins from him. I heard he was too small for it to be in the heavyweight division, but I've also heard that he punches so hard that it doesn't really matter about his size. So I'm excited to see what he can produce. I think this is the fight that's actually going to solidify him as a potential contender within the top 10 of the heavyweights.
And man, Torres, he's a unit.
He is a big boy.
He is a unit. And you know what's funny? He trains with Big Baby.
Over in they're in Florida, right?
But you know what Big Baby I'm talking about, right?
Big Baby Miller or Jared Allen?
Jared Allen.
Yeah. Okay. So yeah, they're both in Vegas then.
They're both.
I mean, yeah, the top rank stable, so it makes sense. Yeah.
But I don't know, that's kind of tough, man.
All right. Two heavyweight chains together.
Yeah.
I mean, they'll find a way to avoid each other for sure. They'll find a way to avoid each other, but no, I mean, given the tomfoolery that's happening with the sanctioning bodies on this fight, obviously you're right. I think Usyk at this point, he doesn't need to fight to defend the belt or campaign for undisputed again. He's just trying to get the money grab and get out. Fair play to him. He deserves it.
Usyk, go back to cruiserweight, and you know who you gotta fight. I don't gotta say it twice. You know who you gotta fight. Let's go.
All right, man. I mean, I would like to see that fight too.
You know.
But Benavidez can easily come up to heavyweight to go make that fight. So he doesn't have to go back to cruiser. At this point, Benavidez should just go up to heavyweight.
I don't know about that.
No? You want him to stay at cruiser?
Yeah.
Oh my God, you're so scary, bro. You're so scary, bro. Okay, cool. Fine, that's fine. So future matchups in the talks. Going back to Keyshawn Davis.
Okay.
So Keyshawn missed weight going into that fight to make 140. So that's a sign that 140 division, he may not be in there that long. Devin Haney needs a fight. The fight against who's he talking? Rolly Romero fell through. It didn't really go anywhere. So Devin is in a spot where he needs to find somebody to fight. And I think that Keyshawn fight makes sense for him right now. Keyshawn versus Devin Haney. It's in the talks.
Keyshawn versus Devin Haney.
Yeah.
Who? Right.
No, it's funny. I think this is the best time for Devin Haney to catch Keyshawn.
This is the best time for Devin to catch.
If he waits any longer, Keyshawn beats him handedly.
Well, let's be honest. Keyshawn is already on that level, though.
Yeah, you think he beats him now?
I'm not gonna say beats him, but I can see a 50-50 fight and a very shootout.
That would probably be a very high level matchup.
We're looking at Terrence Crawford as Keyshawn Davis.
Okay.
Flow Money Mayweather as Devin Haney. That's what we're looking at. Honestly, I'm not gonna lie to you. I know Haney got spanked by Ryan, but besides that, we're looking at two guys that got somewhat similar styles of those two guys.
Mm-hmm.
You know what I'm saying?
Yeah, I feel you. No, so, Keyshawn's style is definitely a style that I think would match up very well with Devin's.
That fight would be beautiful. That's gonna be a packed arena, hands down.
Yeah, I was talking to one of my guys. His name is Tiger. Shout out to Tiger. Coach Tiger.
Awesome.
He was definitely mentioning. He said that look, Devin Haney beats him now, but this is the best time for Devin Haney to take that fight. He waits a year or 2 years longer, it's not gonna be good for him because Keyshawn is taking less miles because Devin is a 27-year-old vet. He's a 27-year-old Hall of Famer vet. Like he's fought at a high level for a very long time. Whereas Keyshawn still has a little less miles on him.
Can I ask you a question?
What's up?
What do you think about Haney's resume?
One of the best in the game, hands down. You can't say it's not, in my opinion.
No, you're right.
Right, given the talent pool that was available to him at the time that it were available, I think that Devin Haney has a Hall of Fame ballot career already at 27 with a high level resume. He hasn't ducked anybody. He's gone after the top guys and he's fought those guys and he's beaten them handily. So, got to give Devin Haney the props. Devin Haney is someone that should be, if he were to retire today, I would definitely say he's a first ballot Hall of Famer. But I don't think he beats Keyshawn if he doesn't fight him today. Why are you laughing if I say that?
I don't know about being a Hall of Famer. He probably has to fight another guy in the top 5.
You don't think Devin Haney's resume right now is a Hall of Fame ready? I mean, he's now 3-time world champion, 27-year-old, undisputed, defended undisputed.
Yeah, undisputed, but he still hasn't fought guys like on the top 5 at 147. Like I feel like
he just got to 147.
Yeah, he just got down to 147. I feel like he needs to show out. There's a lot of fights at 147 now. Remember that. So let's say if you were to get 3 big fights at 147, and if he were to beat all of those, then I can say he's all time.
I mean, there's Hall of Famers that don't have as near of a high level resume as Devin Haney right now. So but that's I feel one or two different sides of the street. Okay. You think Devin Haney's resume needs a little bit more for him to be Hall of Fame? I think he's already Hall of Fame. A little bit more wins definitely just solidifies him as like maybe one of the greatest of our. Yeah, right. I don't want to say of all time because it's one of the greatest of our generation. Of but regardless, I think his resume as it stands right now is Hall of Fame ready, and because you gotta respect the body of work he's been doing for how long he's been doing. I mean, 27 years old, and outside of the Ryan Garcia fight, 30 plus fight, perfect, absolutely perfect from world champion to world champion. Never really ducked anybody and like looked for a cherry picked fight. I mean, and he's a good businessman. But for the future matchup, I think that this is the best time for him to fight Keyshawn Davis. Because if he doesn't, I think that Keyshawn's style and veracity is just gonna catch up to Devin Haney if he waits too much longer. But I would pay a lot of money for that fight. I think that's a very big money fight, right? They may not necessarily be like knockout artists, but I think that just the quality of fighter that they are will be enough to sell. And I think they're both good. They promote themselves both very, very well to make a lot of money on that fight. So that's definitely a fight that should be made, and I'm looking forward to if they can make it. Yeah, man. Devin Haney versus Keyshawn Davis. Hopefully we can get it before the end of the year, man.
It's gonna happen.
You think so?
It's gonna happen. I can't wait for that.
But speaking of Devin Haney, man, there's a boxer I wanna talk about today.
Oh.
Yeah. Not a lot of people have been getting a lot of hype, man. I feel like people kind of wrote him off after his last fight.
Who is it? Let's talk to the fans. Who's gonna be the boxer of the week? Let them know.
Let me intro it to you guys, man. His last fight was against Devin Haney in Riyadh. Took a unanimous decision loss. I think it was a 50-50 fight on the sports book, but I think people started writing him off. But Brian Norman Jr.
Oh my God.
He's my boxer to watch for this week.
Okay. I gotta get him last fight.
Second round KO. But I just think that he's someone that he reminds me of a little bit of Sean Porter in a sense that I feel like he's our generation Sean Porter. You wanna know why? Because he's already been a world champion.
Yeah.
He's going to be a multi-time world champion, kind of like Sean Porter. In my opinion, I just think he's never going to be the guy that can beat the A+ fighters, but he's always going to be an A fighter. He's not a gatekeeper.
Okay.
He's not a gatekeeper.
Hopefully never.
He won't. I don't think he'll ever be a gatekeeper until maybe on the back end of his career if he decides to keep fighting that long.
Sure.
He's gonna be world champion again, but he's always gonna lose to the A+ fighter. But shout out to him though. I feel like people are underestimating him. I feel like there's a lot of matches at 147 which he can catch like a win in.
He is a bully. I'll be honest.
He punches hard.
He punches very hard.
His jab yesterday was beautiful. Very sharp, very light. And he punches. Yeah, he's an assassin. He punches really hard. He can knock you out. He was the 2025 knockout of the year back in Japan. You know what's funny that fight? I was on my way to work. It was like I don't know why that morning I woke up really early. And I just like, you know what? I was like, oh, there's a top rank card on. Let me just throw it on ESPN. Brian Norman was fighting, getting ready for work. I look over, nasty hook.
Oh my goodness.
Folded, homeboy.
Folded.
I was like, damn.
Oh. Easy.
Like, wow, that motherfucker can punch.
Listen.
That guy can punch.
One thing about Brian Norman is, he does have power. I'm not gonna lie to you. I think now he's working with Derrick James. No, not Derrick James. The Charlo brothers on coach.
I know exactly what you're talking
about. You know what I'm talking about.
I know exactly what you're talking
about. Jamal's coach.
Yeah.
Jamal's coach.
I want to say Ronnie something.
Yeah, Ronnie. I forgot his last name.
Yeah.
We'll put that later on.
Ronnie Shields.
Ronnie Shields.
I know my coaches.
There it is.
I know my trainers. Ronnie Shields. Yeah, no. He's with Ronnie Shields now. They're trying to implement a more patient game plan. He wasn't as patient yesterday, for sure. But he did say he tried to come on and take out the guy's head off the bat, but he didn't. He peeled back a little bit. So no. Well, no, I think that there's a lot of fights to make for him. And the number one fight I think people would actually like, Rolly versus Brian Norman. That's a very interesting fight. Because Rolly, 147 for the WBA belt. They both have power. It's an awkward style that Rolly brings, and I think Brian Norman can actually handily beat Rolly. And then I would like to actually see Ryan Garcia in that mix as well too for Brian Norman. And my third fight, Keyshawn Davis at 47.
What about?
He already lost to Devin.
What about Norman versus Ben?
See, I thought about that, but then I was like, Ben still hasn't shown me anything worth putting him in a title conversation yet. He has to show me something.
That's explosive dudes right there, man.
But he hasn't fought anybody that would be like, oh yeah, he's a title contender, right? So I'm not gonna throw him in there for the shits and gigs, for the talk, just for the talk, okay. You throw him in there. But for actual title contention, I would like to see Rolly, Garcia, and Keyshawn versus Brian Norman, which I think those are all good fights. But man. But you got some cornballs for me, don't you?
Oh yes, I do.
Oh my God.
Yes, I do. And it's gonna.
Who's your cornball, man?
My cornball of the week. It's gonna go with my man, Ben Whitaker.
Ben Whitaker. What that guy? What did he do to you, man?
Because, brother, listen, I understand but I like you, Ben. I think you're a cool showman boxing. You're talented. You like to show out. It's a good time. You put the crowd with you in each fight. But it's not about that. It's about you fighting the best, right? And we all wanted you to fight Morrell. You should have taken that fight with Morrell. Believe it or not, till this day, I will still want you to fight Morrell, even though Morrell just lost for an upset.
I mean, Morrell just needs a couple cleanup wins and he'll be back in there.
A couple.
Yeah, a couple good wins.
Ain't no more couple, brother. Ain't no more. So,
I mean, he would need a tune-up fight.
Whitaker needs to find somebody that's very, very good at 175 because you're 28 years old and you still haven't really showed out your skills.
To be fair, he did just get out the amateurs. To be fair, right? And again, they're still developing him, selling him. That's what the promoters are doing right now. But I agree with you. He's gonna have to prove something here. And he's fighting June 27th on Xander Zion's Boots card. And he has a pretty tough opponent. He has a very scrappy, well-rounded. I think I want to call him a journeyman, but he's definitely more of a journeyman type of fighter. I think his name is Richard Popeye. They call him Popeye. I got to figure out his full name. Out of New York, and that's a good fight. I feel like if he wins that fight, a lot of people think that the UK fighters can't beat the American fighters. So he has an American guy he can beat right now, solidify himself in the American market. I think Ben Whitaker can be a world titleist. Does he become a world champion? That's still up in the air.
That's up in the air.
But I mean, he's your cornball of the week because he's too flamboyant and too flashy, huh?
Yeah.
Okay.
That's not even about the flash. It's just I need you to start finding good guys
in due time.
And who's your flash of the week?
Devin, the Dream, Haney.
I like that.
Kind of going back to what I said earlier,
man.
At 27 years old, I think he has a Hall of Fame first ballot resume already, right? At 27 years old, he's a 130 champion, WBC. He is our 135 undisputed champion, defended against Kambosos and Lomachenko, and he went up to 140 and beat 135 champion, undisputed against Lomachenko, 140 champion, beat Regis Berger for it, 147 WBO champion, beat Brian Norman for it. At 27 years old, he has 30 plus fights. You would think that guy's been in the game since. You would think with the record he has, he's like in his 30s.
Truly. All right. So, what do you think out of, let's say, those last 3 fights of Haney was the most flyest fight you've seen him at his best?
It's good.
I have one, but
it's hard. It's hard for me to answer that question. I feel like he's always at his best because he won those fights so dominantly. But the person that he went against,
dominant though.
The one that he went against that made me say like Devin Haney is for sure him.
Talk to him.
Lomachenko.
I
would say Lomachenko because I mean Lomachenko was the hardest stylistic matchup for him, right? In terms of like pedigree. Brian Norman, like I said, is kind of like that Sean Porter, like very, very high level, very world class, Regis Prograis class, but they're not Olympians like a Lomachenko. So in terms of like best, you have to who are you at risk of losing if you're not 100% amongst those three? It would be Lomachenko. Yeah, because I feel like 80% Devin Haney can still get by against Regis Prograis or Brian Norman, but 80% of Devin Haney versus Lomachenko is not a good night in the office. So, yeah, I would say that Lomachenko was the flyest win on his record.
Okay.
So, what would you say?
George Kambosos.
Why?
Because, man, that in and out game was crazy work.
Okay, I can agree with that. I can agree. He looked
crazy work,
but
bro.
Given that Kambosos isn't really
read that man.
But Kambosos isn't a really difficult book to read though.
No, you're right.
So yeah, he looked great against a lesser talent, but in terms of again going back to what I was saying, talent for talent, pedigree for pedigree, Lomachenko has to be the best win on his record of those four, I guess.
That's not bad.
Right?
Good pick.
But yeah, man. But main event time, brother.
Main event, baby.
Main event time. You were super hyped for this one.
It's 100%.
Yeah. Today we're going to be introducing our inaugural TFB title, the Flyest boxing title. And today we're going to start at 140. We have 8 fighters for you guys today, ranked from 1 to 8. TATG has 4. I have 4. We're going to run individual tournaments with our 4. Finalists from all 4 go against each other. And the winner fights the king of the 140 division.
Who is it?
Shakur Stevenson. All right? So let's go through our 8, man. Let's go through our 8. Who do we have today? At number 1, okay, so champion is Shakur Stevenson, so he gets to be at the top of the hill. Everybody's fighting to compete against Shakur Stevenson. Truly. Number 1, we got Keyshawn Davis.
Okay.
Number 2, we got Dalton Smith.
Okay.
3 is Teofimo Lopez.
I like that.
Emiliano Vargas at 4. Gary Antuanne Russell at 5.
Okay.
Frank Martin at 6. Usyk Cruz at 7. Subriel Matias at 8.
That's good ranking.
You have your 4?
I have my 4.
Who are your 4? Share your 4 with us.
So, you want me to show you my 4? You want me to tell you?
Tell me your 4 lineup, 1 and 2, and then tell me your matchups.
Oh, okay. So, from 1 and 2, I got Tio.
Okay.
So, number 1. My second is Emilio.
Number 3.
My third is going to be Isaac Cruz.
Okay.
And my 4th is Frank Martin.
What are your matchups?
So, the first fight, Teofimo versus Frank Martin.
Winner.
Who do you think will win that fight?
Tio.
I'll say Tio also.
Okay.
What about you?
I would say Tio.
You say Tio?
Yeah.
Okay. Now, my second fight,
yeah,
it's Emilio Vargas versus Isaac Cruz.
Who wins that fight?
Emilio.
That's a hard fight for Emilio.
It's a hard fight, but I feel like Emilio is very disciplined when it comes to distance and learning the art of boxing.
So now we have Tio versus Emilio.
Mm-hmm.
Who wins that?
Sheesh.
Right now. We're talking about right now.
Right now.
Yeah.
Tio's in his prime.
Yeah.
Emilio's still young.
Yeah.
Tio knows how to play the inside and outside game.
Yep.
I'm going to give it to Teofimo Lopez.
So
takeover, baby. Let's go.
Teofimo Lopez is the winner of your tournament. My tournament.
Let's go. Let's hear your tournament now.
My matchup. Keyshawn at number 1 versus my number 4 spot, Subriel Matias. Keyshawn Davis versus Subriel Matias. Keyshawn Davis. Easy. Sweep that boy.
Sweet.
Gary Antuanne Russell versus Dalton Smith.
Ooh.
I got oh man, it's a tough one because I feel like Dalton Smith it would be a lot more challenging than Gary Antuanne would assume. But I will give it to Gary. I'll give it to Gary on that one.
People sleep on Gary, man.
Yeah, Gary's tough.
Gary's tough, man.
He's a dog, man. A lot of people have nightmares about him in the amateurs.
That's what I'm saying, man.
He's been a tough problem for a lot of people in the amateurs.
Nobody. So
and then my winner. So my final matchup would essentially be Keyshawn Davis versus Gary Antuanne Russell. Skills pay the bills. Keyshawn Davis. So now we have Keyshawn versus the Takeover.
Wait. Do I want to give you my Takeover versus Keyshawn? Heck no, man.
Takeover, that's your winner.
Yeah.
Teofimo versus Keyshawn. Let's talk about it.
Oh my goodness.
Who wins that fight?
Okay. Keyshawn versus Teo.
Keyshawn versus Teo. You can't just say you can't. You gotta give me a good reason why, man.
I'll give you a good reason why, man. Well, all right. So let's be honest.
Yeah.
This isn't gonna be a one fight win or lose. Now I think that the first fight is probably gonna be a draw.
Okay.
All right.
Okay.
Second fight. I mean, let's be honest, man. Teo's a dog. Teo's a dog, and even if he's a dog, he still puts the skills. He has the heart of a champion. What does that mean? That the way he lost to Shakur Stevenson.
Yeah.
But we all know that Keyshawn would love for a fight also. Keyshawn isn't like Shakur. He would love to fight.
Okay, so you're saying the stylistic matchup plays more to Teo than him when he fought Shakur.
100%.
So the first fight goes to a draw. Second fight goes where?
Goes to Teofimo.
Does Keyshawn get the rematch?
After taking the business of Shakur, yeah.
So Teo wins that matchup.
I think Teo wins that matchup.
Wow, it's interesting.
Teo, you taking that man, bro? Nah. Do it for the live people, man. Let's go, baby.
I mean, I'm on the opposite side of the street.
Oh
here,
my
man.
goodness.
I think Keyshawn takes it.
That's crazy.
Keyshawn want this one.
They're nice. Hold up.
I think Keyshawn easily wins that fight. He has to. Look, at the end of the day, like I said, there's levels to this. Keyshawn is an Olympian.
Nah.
He's a seasoned Olympian, just like Shakur.
Teo too. Teo's an Olympian too. He fought for
He didn't place.
He didn't place. That's right.
That's
right.
And we've seen the best of Teofimo Lopez, and I don't even think we've seen the best of Keyshawn yet. And I take the version of Keyshawn we saw yesterday.
Okay.
I think that version against Teofimo Lopez, that goes to 12 rounds, but I think Keyshawn finds a way to win that fight. The best version of Keyshawn, I think absolutely dog walks Teofimo Lopez.
1 through 12.
1 through 12. And the thing is, I think he does it better than Shakur Stevenson because, like you said, he is a bit more tenacious than Shakur Stevenson. Okay. Shakur is very much aware of his distance and defense. So Keyshawn wants to get in that action, and he punches really hard, and he punches with a lot of conviction. I don't think you understand. Like, there's a difference between punching hard and punching fast, and punching with conviction.
Oh man!
Meaning that this punch is intended to actually hurt you. Every single punch he throws is intended to hurt you. He didn't just throw it fast. He didn't throw it hard just to throw it hard. He threw it to hurt you with conviction. And I think that's just the difference maker between him and Teofimo Lopez. And I think the skills pay the bills. And there's levels to this for a reason. Now, you got Teofimo Lopez versus Shakur Stevenson, so you essentially get a rematch because he won your matchup. Yeah. You think that in a rematch, do you think Teofimo Lopez does better against Shakur Stevenson? Or is it just the same situation again?
I think it'll probably be the same situation unless Shakur does something completely different.
Yeah.
But if we're gonna say it like this, let's go. We can go. Keyshawn.
Okay, so Keyshawn versus Shakur Stevenson. They clearly say that they will never fight each other
unless you give those.
But guess what though? It's our world. It's our tournament.
Yeah, tell them.
It's the TFB title on the line today. Tell them. We don't do none of that buddy stuff.
None of buddy. None of that.
Who's winning that fight?
Keyshawn.
That was way too quick.
Easy work. Keyshawn. Hey, I know you want 200 million, man, but that's not gonna happen. You need at least 5-star guys to make that happen.
You know, it's funny enough, man. While I look surprised I'm just surprised at how quick you said it. Yeah. I don't necessarily disagree.
You see?
I don't necessarily disagree that Keyshawn would beat someone like Shakur Stevenson. It's definitely the dream fight. It's definitely a fight that I would pay a lot of money to watch. It's definitely a fight where I think that if Keyshawn wins, I'm not surprised. If Shakur wins, I'm definitely not surprised. Right? Yeah. It's hard to say, but I don't disagree. Keyshawn could win that fight just as easy. But let's say this: Keyshawn, maybe the first fight goes to a draw, or Shakur wins and it's a very, very tough matchup. Let's say he has to go 3 fights. Out of 3 fights, who wins that series?
Tie the first one. Keyshawn wins the second one. I need the third one. Real life at that point. I have no idea.
You gotta give me one, bro. You can't just bail out on that one. You gotta give me a three fight win. 3 fights, who wins though?
Right, just because they're best friends. First fight, Shakur. Second fight, draw. Third fight, Keyshawn.
Okay. What does them being best friends have to do with that?
I feel like Shakur, if he sees that in the first fight, he had more of the dominant side.
Yeah.
Maybe like, all right, we can do the second fight, give it a rematch. Second fight will show that.
Yeah.
Will show that what Keyshawn needs to do to actually be his friend, to make him more of an enemy. So it will be a dog fight at that point. And that third fight, that's when Keyshawn's like, I got you. Like, I know what he can do now. Easy work.
Okay. I think out of 3 fights, honestly, in 3 fights, I think I'll side with Shakur over Keyshawn, just because I think Keyshawn would need to be 10 out of 10 on his best P's and Q's to get a win against Shakur. But I think Shakur can approach the game like he always does, which is, be defensively sound, play your distance game.
Jab it out.
So yeah, just jab it out, right? So maybe Keyshawn gets a win. Maybe the first fight goes to a draw. Not even. I think Shakur wins that first fight. Let's say we get a rematch. Keyshawn wins it. I don't think Shakur seeing the same stylistic style twice. He's one of those, like, you see it too many times, you just know. And, like, again, it takes so much more for Keyshawn to get a win over Shakur than Shakur to get a win over Keyshawn. So in a 3-fight series, I would give it to Shakur Stevenson. What do you guys think? Drop in the comments. But pretty simple. So
pretty simple. Our
first inaugural champion.
Yes, sir.
Shakur Stevenson.
You're in the greens? Yes, we're in the greens.
We gotta make it a nice title. We're gonna mail you a title, Shakur.
We're gonna mail you a title.
Don't worry about it, man. The Flyest boxing title coming your way very, very soon.
Sir.
But with that being said, man, we won't hold you guys too much longer. We really appreciate you guys coming in.
What do you have to say? If you guys feel about that tournament that we just made, write in the comments who you think will actually win. Drop your opinions, and who knows, man. We might call you to see what you guys really think.
We want y'all to get involved at all times. But go ahead and like, share, and subscribe. This is the only way we get to grow this platform for you guys, this community for you guys. We want to bring some good boxing topics to you guys. We want to keep getting better. The show's going to get better. The quality's going to get better. The topic's going to get flyer. But with that being said, go ahead and get out of our house. Thank you very much.
Deuces.
Deuces.